Montreal administration added 3 bike paths in my district of Darlington in June of 2023. The bike path on Barclay goes from Waterton to Westbury. The one on Plamadon goes from Westbury to Côte-des-Neiges, and the one on Goey goes from Hudson to Waterton. These 3 bike paths are all parallel to one another. There are not enough cyclists in my district to warrant all of these bike paths. I have an elderly uncle who lives on Barclay facing the bike path. In the summer, he sits on his balcony for many hours a day, and he has told me that there are not many cyclists using the bike path. The same can be said for the bike paths on Goey and on Plamadon. Before the addition of the bike paths, these streets were wide enough to accommodate the traffic flow. But with the bike paths, the streets have become very narrow. Garbage trucks constantly block the streets, police operations, medical emergencies, and ambulances block traffic, delivery trucks block the roads, repairmen called to the apartment buildings block the streets with their trucks, car accidents or cars breaking down create traffic jams. Residents are not even able to double park to drop off the groceries. I can give hundreds of examples of how we are negatively affected by these bike paths. Having 3 parallel bike paths next to one another is redundant. The best solution is to look for a compromise. My suggestion is that since the bike path on Barclay goes the entire route from Waterton to Westbury, then that's the one that should be retained. The other parallel bike paths on Goey and Plamadon should be removed because they are unnecessary and to ease traffic congestion. These 2 bike paths should be replaced by painted bike lanes. Painted bike lanes create a protected bike lane for cyclists without having to narrow the street. They are used on many streets throughout Montreal. This question is for Sunny Morose. Will your administration consider my suggestion to remove the Goey and Plamadon bike paths and have them replaced by painted bike lanes?
Thank you, George. Thank you for the council asking a relevant question. I'm going to resort to the existing answer, which is that we're in the middle of finalizing an audit, which is a review of the bike paths that were put on by President Montreal, namely the ones that you named. Just to let you know that I voted for those protected bike paths down Barclay, down Plamondon, and I believe that protected bike paths do protect the biker more than bike path that we would put on the road. But I think in those decisions, we didn't take into account the density of those buildings and the usage of the parking lot and the security that pedestrians have along the protected bike path. So I'm willing to have the humility of looking at that decision, and we'll get back to you once that audit is finished. And I can tell you that we're already looking at the coherence of all those parallel bike paths and what it brings, but there needs to be an east-west passage somewhere, and I think we'd agree that it needs to be one that works best, and I think that's what the audit will show for us, specifically in the Darlington-Snowden corridor, where it's flat and not where the mountain is. But at the same time, I also want to let you know that we're exploring Côte St. Catherine, an extension of Côte St. Catherine from where it ends at Saint Vincent d'Haïti, potentially going further west. So please note that we are trying to make sense. But just like I've said in the past to you and to others who have questioned what we're planning to do is we want to find a place that integrates people's concerns who are impacted by the bike path without it being a hindrance to that future development. So if you want to do big things fast, you have to do them right. Do you have a second question?
In June 2018, the United States, Canada, and Mexico were named to be the co-hosts of the 2026 World Cup Soccer Finals. In the initial stages, Montreal was strongly considered to be one of the host cities, which created lots of excitement. Then suddenly, on June 6, 2021, Montreal withdrew its bid from the selection process, and its excuse was because the provincial government withdrew its support. I blame the Project Montreal administration for this fiasco. We all know that Valérie Plante always got what she wanted, no matter what. But in this case, she didn't try hard enough to have Montreal be one of the host cities. She should have tried harder into persuading the provincial government into helping. For instance, since the Olympic Stadium roof was in need of repairs, these repairs could have started in 2019 and they would have been completed by the start of the tournament. In this tournament, Canada is going to host 13 games. 7 will be held in Vancouver and 6 will be held in Toronto. 0 will be held in Montreal. This is a disgrace. This question is for Peter McQueen. Why didn't your administration ensure that Montreal will be one of the host cities? And please don't say it's because of finances. Toronto and Vancouver found a way, so I'm sure it could have been done.
Thanks for the question, George, but I'm afraid I just don't know the answer. I didn't follow the next sequence.
Okay, thanks, George.